This next portion is for you to ask me anything. Do you have any questions, 2 or 3 questions or so that you would like to ask me at all?
Yeah. What made you get into this? Okay, see, I was talking about intention. So what made you start this? Kind of what was going through your head when that came about?
Yeah. So with this podcast here, at a certain point when I started coming to Spotlight, it was at a time where I was in a bad place in life. And similar to you, I was just like, I need to just do something that's outside of the comfort zone that gets my mind off of it. And that's what Spotlight was for me. And then as I did that, I also started consuming a lot of content about male improvement, fitness, make sure you're making your money, make sure you're got all these different things going on. And I noticed that the focus of it was always a certain things between the money, the fitness, making sure that you looked a certain way, making sure that you just had all these physical traits on you. And I was doing that for a while. And at a certain point, I think I got to a place where I was pretty decent on all fronts. Some of my friends would tell me, guy friends, by the way. So take that for what it's worth. I was like a 7.5.
Okay.
But I still noticed that I didn't seem to have the results that I thought that doing those things would yield. Mm-hmm. And so then I said to myself, okay, I focused on the physical traits and all these things that matter. Now let me spend some actual deep time focusing on things like how deep am I really enmeshed in my relationship with God? How am I so focused on my physical appearance that I neglect the way that I nurture relationships with people? Yeah. And also, am I still kind of a closeted Christian? Am I doing enough to where I know it and the people that are also Christians know it? Or am I doing it in a way that, when you meet me, you're going to know what I'm about? And I realized that, whether it was dating profiles, whether it was the way that I had conversations, that part of me was being minimized. And so I changed my dating profiles to where my first picture or my second picture up was me coming out of the pool being baptized from the year 2021. And it was another student of yours that baptized me along with a friend that I met at my church. And then I started to think to myself, okay, well, not everything from those things that I consumed was crap. It's just that I haven't been expressing the fullness of what Jesus has done in my life. And so, firstly, once I started saying, okay, I believe in this, I want someone that agrees, that believes in this as well, so we can have that commonality. And I started defining my dating profile for a Christian girl.
Mm-hmm. You're intentional.
Yes, sir. Yeah. And I'll tell you, dude, within it was I don't know what happened, but it just, my options went from 2 or 3 with the fake scam bot things of DM me on Snapchat and all that. Mm-hmm. And once I got Jesus involved with it, I had a plethora of awesome, beautiful girls that hit me up. And I went on dates for 2 weeks, and eventually one of those girls became my now wife.
Yeah.
And I realized, holy smokes, if I had continued in this vein of content, I never, but everything that I do now, between the wife that I have, the relationships with the students that I help to teach, the different life groups that I'm either a part of or that I'm leading or getting ready to lead, some of the strengthening of relationships with certain family members, all of these things come from leaning into that.
Yeah.
And there are so many guys who are exactly where I was, either for a season or that has been their reality for months, if not years. and they're still wondering why can't they find a good partner? Why don't they get respect from the people that they work with? Why does their life feel meaningless even though their bank account is steadily growing, $1,000 to $10,000 every 6 months? And so I think a lot of that just comes down to where that focus is. And so my aim is to take some of the themes that I learned that were good. Like, I think it was a good theme that I need to make sure that my body is healthy, that I'm eating right, that going to the gym is an important factor for me. And I've been slacking on that. And I think it is an important factor to look at, like, is your hair cut? Do you smell decent?
Yeah.
Like, all these things, all those things are important.
There's always lessons and points.
Yeah.
In all of it, yeah.
But some of the things like that are being taught, like, oh, you should go out and have multiple women at the same time. Just tell them about each other so it's ethical, blah, 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 blah. But, like, even that is a superficial way of protecting yourself. And it's not a way that it doesn't bring you any type of peace. It's a setup that brings you a lot of trouble. So that's one example, but there's so many. And I want to create something that, one, allows men to know that, hey, there is a space that is meant to highlight you. Like, yes, 80-90% of media in America now is meant to highlight women, but this is something meant to highlight and acknowledge men. And this is something meant to encourage you, build you up, hold you accountable to the things that you should be doing as a man, but also to let you see that there are options for you outside of just what appears to be the most successful route to get where you ultimately want to be. And I'm a man that has done that. I was the guy that was living at home with his parents, had just gotten broken up with, got fired from his job, and didn't know what I was going to do with life for a good little bit. And I had to sit in that room, and I'm just like, I've lost all of these things, and what am I going to do now? Well, let's try this God thing out. And it changed everything for me. Yeah. So, it's to do that. When I have people on, I might have anyone like yourself on that's been through the entrepreneurial journey. I might have a student on who's 12 years old. I think I had one that was 11 years old, and I just talked to him one-on-one. I might have a dad on. I might have the CEO of a $60 million company on. And these are all different people that I've had on, and I want to continue to expand the circles of people that I'm doing. So that's why I started this thing.